We apologize for interrupting your doom scrolling. Now, for some positive leftist news.
PLN is a member of MeansTV, a worker cooperative socialist streaming platform. We are happy to offer viewers 20% off your subscription. Stay tuned to the end of the episode for details and find the discount link and code in the description box below. Save North Gaza is a grassroots solidarity and frontline mutual aid initiative led by a Palestinian journalist with Indigenous water protectors of Turtle Island. This month, they successfully delivered 7 trucks carrying 35,000 liters of water to families in North Gaza, being the first to deliver water to forcibly displaced people returning to their homes. The water reached vital areas, providing essential relief as families begin the arduous task of rebuilding their homes and lives. From Turtle Island to Palestine, occupation is a crime. A water protector said, "Water protectors here in the U.S. colony continue to stand with our kin in North Gaza, delivering water. Please share and uplift. The need for water is great there as people try to rebuild. Since the fake holiday of Thanksgiving, we have been able to fund 15 projects with journalists on the ground there. Indigenous solidarity is key to ending the occupation of Palestine and Turtle Island." We've put links in the description box if you'd like to support this important solidarity initiative. In late January, the president of South Africa signed the Expropriation Act, finally dismantling apartheid-era land laws that robbed Black South Africans of their rightful land. The new law enables land redistribution in the public interest, ensuring fair compensation or, in some cases, none at all. This is the culmination of a long history of struggle, declared Deputy Minister Sile Zikalala, celebrating a milestone decades in the making. While South Africa takes bold steps toward justice, Donald Trump, defending apartheid's legacy, retaliates by freezing aid, including HIV/AIDS funding, and falsely calling the law racist for addressing colonial land theft. But South Africa moves forward, undaunted, principled, and resolute, taking decolonization seriously. It's land back everywhere. In a momentous ceremony in Haida territory, Haida leaders and community members gathered to celebrate a historic agreement with the Canadian government affirming the Haida Nation's Aboriginal title over the lands of Haida Gwaii. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau declared Haida Gwaii belongs to you, the Haida people, as the crowd erupted in applause. This agreement transitions all Crown-owned land to Haida control, affirming the Haida Nation's right to govern and manage the land according to their laws and values. The president of the Council of the Haida Nation reflected on their long history of political mobilization, saying this agreement moves us from an era of denial and resistance to one of peaceful coexistence and recognition that this is Haida land. The agreement follows a decades-long struggle for recognition, including a legal battle that began in the 1990s. Haida Gwaii's future will now be shaped by the Haida people, who are committed to a sustainable approach to the land and sea, one step further towards making Turtle Island great again. Thousands took to the streets across the U.S. this month after heavily armed ICE raids targeted immigrant communities. "We're here to fight for our neighbors," said protester Amanda Starks. Trump's administration targeted Colorado, branding its mass deportation effort Operation Aurora, after falsely claiming a Venezuelan gang had taken over parts of the state. ICE raids, sometimes accompanied by Fox News cameras, terrorized communities, prompting volunteers to distribute legal rights information. At a rally outside the state capitol, activists led chants like, "When ICE shows up, don't open the door." Protesters condemned slumlords exploiting immigrants and slammed Rep. Lauren Boebert for pressuring Governor Jared Polis to roll back protections. Nationwide resistance is growing. Cities from Los Angeles to Milwaukee held mass protests against Trump's deportation crackdown. "The decisive factor is whether the community is prepared," said organizer Katie Leonard. "We take these threats very seriously." Serbian students seized control of 62 out of 80 faculties, turning universities into self-organized hubs of resistance. What began as outrage over the tragic collapse of a renovated railway station canopy, killing 15, including 2 kindergarteners, has ignited a movement demanding justice, democracy, and an end to corruption. The response from the state? Brutal repression. Protesters have faced police violence, unlawful detentions, and attacks by government-aligned hooligans. Despite this, the movement is growing. Students suspended classes, disbanded official student bodies, and transformed faculty buildings into centers of resistance, complete with kitchens, dormitories, pharmacies, workshops, and self-education spaces. The public overwhelmingly supports them, donating food and resources daily. More than 55 high schools have now joined the blockades as well. Their demands are clear: the release of all detained students and an end to political prosecutions, full transparency over the deadly railway renovation and criminal accountability for those responsible, and a 20% increase in education funding. Representative democracy is failing, and the protesters are building something new. What began as grief and outrage has become a movement of self-governance, solidarity, and resistance. All power to the students. Thousands of farmers and agricultural workers have launched an indefinite sit-in at Bangalore's Freedom Park, demanding land rights, fair prices, and an end to corporate land grabs. The government is ignoring the landless, poor, and farmers to serve the rich, said Viju Krishnan of the All India Kisan Sabha. We will not stop until our demands are met. The protest comes as Karnataka's Congress-led government courts corporate investors instead of fulfilling election promises. Women from Bellary, whose land was seized by mining giants, have joined the agitation, demanding long overdue compensation. With India's agrarian crisis worsening under neoliberal policies and Modi's BJP pushing a corporate takeover of agriculture, the movement is gaining momentum. The struggle will not end, warned Krishnan. The land belongs to those who cultivate it. Solidarity with this powerful movement.
Burkina Faso is nationalizing its land, moving the country in a Sankarist direction. On the 5th of February, the Minister of the Economy and Finances announced all land belongs to the state and foreigners are no longer allowed to hold rural land titles. This is similar to the land reform measures adopted by assassinated socialist Pan-African President Thomas Sankara, who nationalized land in Burkina Faso in 1984. Under the counter-revolutionary government of Blaise Compaoré, found guilty in Sankara's assassination, the government privatized land again in 1991. The new law aims to prevent land grabbing and speculation and to increase mass access to Burkina Faso's land, and the government will respect customary rights of indigenous peoples and local communities with regard to land use. Sankara once said, "The time is over when people sitting in their parlors can buy and resell land on speculation."
In a show of worker power, employees at Bert Nash Community Mental Health Center voted overwhelmingly to unionize under the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 304. The landslide 168-12 victory secures their right to collectively bargain for better wages, working conditions, and patient care. Bert Nash staff, including therapists, case managers, and support specialists, formed Community Mental Health Workers United after years of burnout, high caseloads, and turnover. Their slogan, "Our working conditions are your healing conditions." The next step is contract negotiations. Workers are ready to fight for fair pay, safer conditions, and the dignity they and their clients deserve. An organizer shared with PLN, "We're hopeful that this step will bring us a seat at the table and better services for our clients. Oftentimes our voices can be overlooked for the convenience of insurance, the state, and upper management. We're also hoping that this win will be a signal for other community mental health center workers in the Midwest to unionize and for us to truly shake this system to its core." Speaking of, China's DeepSeek AI has shaken the U.S. tech industry to its core, demonstrating the power of socialist planning over profit-seeking. Within a week of its U.S. launch, DeepSeek became the most downloaded app, surpassing OpenAI's ChatGPT and triggering a historic collapse in U.S. tech valuations, wiping nearly $1 trillion from corporate giants like NVIDIA. "Our goal isn't quick profits, but advancing the technological frontier to drive ecosystem growth," said DeepSeek's founder, Liang Wenfeng, exposing the stark contrast between China's innovation-driven model and Wall Street's speculative greed. While U.S. sanctions aim to cripple China's AI sector, DeepSeek's developers countered with cutting-edge algorithmic innovations, making their model more efficient, less energy-intensive, and drastically cheaper than U.S. counterparts. An experiment that cost more than $370 with OpenAI cost less than $10 with DeepSeek, reported Nature. The fallout was catastrophic for U.S. capitalists. NVIDIA suffered the largest single-day stock crash in history, and Microsoft's AI-driven energy consumption plans were thrown into uncertainty. Even the fossil fuel industry, banking on AI's massive energy needs, took a devastating hit. China's planning and prioritizing technology for the people over corporate profits has again outmaneuvered the West. DeepSeek's success is more than a technological leap, it's a condemnation of capitalism's short-sighted greed.
And organizers in Seattle secured a win this month as voters approved a citizen-initiated proposition, Proposition 1A, to institute a 5% tax on income over $1 million for a social housing initiative. The City Council had put forward an alternative proposition, 1B, which did not increase taxes on the rich, but rather allocated some money from the next 5 budgets. But voters chose 1A. The money will support the Social Housing Developer, a public development authority created to develop, own, and maintain social housing in Seattle. Congratulations to the organizers.
In a striking legal defeat, the Proud Boys have lost control of their own name and symbols to the black church they vandalized. A Washington judge ruled that the Metropolitan African Methodist Episcopal Church now holds the rights to the group's trademark, blocking the Proud Boys from selling any merchandise without the church's permission. The ruling follows a $2.8 million judgment against the Proud Boys after their former leader, Enrique Tarrio, and his members stormed the church and burned its Black Lives Matter banner in 2020. The church called the attack terror meant to silence our support for racial justice. Judge Tanya M. Jones-Bozier agreed, declaring the group's actions hateful and overtly racist. Tarrio, recently pardoned by Donald Trump after serving time for seditious conspiracy, lashed out at the decision, calling it a betrayal of justice. But the church's legal victory means any money the Proud Boys make from selling their symbols can now be seized to pay their debt. The extremist group, long emboldened by police and political allies, must now swallow the bitter pill of needing permission from the church to use its own name. We love to see it. With equal marriage recently signed into law, Thailand is taking steps towards trans rights. The National Health Security Board has allocated 145.63 million baht, or around £3 million, in its 2025 budget to support gender-affirming care. This money will provide free hormone replacement therapy for 200,000 transgender people, marking a major victory for trans rights. Previously, trans people in Thailand had to pay out of pocket, forcing many to seek unsafe treatments. Advocates hope the move will pave the way for future policies ensuring full legal and social equality. With this initiative, Thailand continues to set an example for trans healthcare in the region, recognizing that access to gender-affirming care is a fundamental right. On February 1st, the LGBTQ community in Argentina led a rally attended by over 2 million people for LGBTQ rights and against President Milei's hate speech. From Congress to Plaza de Mayo, they marched not just in protest but in ongoing struggle to build a better world for all. At the forefront stood LGBTQ+ activists, Indigenous and Afro-descendant organizers, disabled rights advocates, workers, and trade unionists, united in the fight for justice. We march to create the future we want to live in, a future with space for everyone, declared organizers. The Spectrum 10K project, which aimed to collect DNA from 10,000 autistic people, is ending following widespread community opposition. Opponents critiqued the project's insensitive language and improper engagement with the autistic community, amongst other issues. Researchers at the Autism Research Center will now focus on using existing health data to address autistic health challenges, such as late ADHD diagnoses and specific needs of autistic women. Professor Sir Simon Baron-Cohen, who led the project, acknowledged the project's failures, committing to more inclusive and transparent research moving forward. In a groundbreaking win for the climate, a UK court has ruled the approval of the Rosebank oil field unlawful, halting the UK's largest undeveloped oil project. The ruling emphasized that the public interest in authorities acting lawfully and the private interest of members of the public in climate change outweigh the private interest of the developers. This very welcome decision marks a key victory in the fight for a livable future for all. In a groundbreaking win for environmental protection, Washington state has become the first place in the world to permanently ban commercial net pen aquaculture, safeguarding Puget Sound's ecosystems and the survival of wild salmon and southern resident orcas. This is a major victory for the health of public waters. The decision follows the leadership of Commissioner Hilary Franz, who in 2022 denied the industry new leases, setting the stage for the permanent ban. Thanks to the leadership of the tribal nations and the public's unwavering support, we've achieved something extraordinary, said Emma Helverson, Executive Director of Wildfish Conservancy. This victory is for every community, every species, and every ecosystem harmed by this practice. This win is the result of years of work by Washington's tribal nations and the Our Sound, Our Salmon Coalition, supported by 186 businesses, organizations, and over 3,200 individuals, demonstrating the power of collective action. Helverson emphasized this victory is a testament to the strength of tribal nations, local communities, and the public's resolve to protect Puget Sound. Washington's leadership is now a model for global action to end net pen aquaculture and protect marine ecosystems worldwide.
If you have good news from the current month, please send your stories to mexi@protonmail.com. And as mentioned, we have a special offer for viewers from MeansTV, which is a worker-owned cooperative dedicated to supporting and producing anti-capitalist media. The streaming service hosts us along with other rad creators like Second Thought and Luna Oi, full-length documentaries like Abby Martin's Gaza Fights for Freedom, and Means original content like Means Morning News, Seriously Wrong's Papa and Boy, and much more. We're happy to announce that we are now able to offer viewers a discount on joining MeansTV. If you sign up using our link and code, which is MEXI, you'll get 20% off your first month, which comes to $7.99. Or you could go with the annual option and get 20% off the entire year. Signing up using our code not only directly contributes to the financial sustainability of the Means Cooperative Media Project, but it's also a great way to support our channel. So if you have the means, consider taking us up on this discount. The link and code are in the description box below. Thank you to Javi for the Positive News Jams. Thank you to Cosmo for the Positive News background. Thank you to Catherine and me for scriptwriting and production. And yours truly again for hosting and editing this one. If you'd like to support the show, please go to patreon.com/positiveleftistnews. You can give us a one-time tip. The link is in the description box below.